Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Dean Hubbard. I am the Labor and Economic Justice Program Director for the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club is the largest and oldest grassroots environmental organization in the United States with 2.4 million members and supporters. On my left is Eric Pica, who is the Executive Director of Friends of the Earth in the United States. His name is spelled E-R-I-C-H-P-I-C-A, Eric Pica. On Eric's left is Dr. Robert Bullard, who is the Dean of the School of Public Affairs at Texas Southern University in the United States. And joining us shortly will be Lauren Wiggins, W-I-G-G-I-N-S, representing the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Climate Change Consortium, and she is from Tennessee State University. My name, Dean Hubbard, is D-E-A-N-H-U-B-B-A-R-D. So happy Human Rights Day, everybody. 67 years ago today, here in Paris, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted by the world's nations, and the award that we are going to present today, I think, provides a textbook example of why we need cross-cutting protection for human rights and just transition for workers in the text of the International Climate Agreement. Today, the Sierra Club, along with Friends of the Earth and the Historically Black Colleges and Universities of the United States and the International Trade Union Confederation, are launching the Unjust Transition Award, an annual corporate greenwashing award. The Unjust Transition Award will recognize corporate initiatives that fail to connect the dots between climate justice and the move to a clean energy economy. I'm now going to turn it over to Eric to talk for us for a moment about just why we are presenting this award.
Good morning. My name is Eric Pica, President of Friends of the Earth United States. We're a national environmental group with over 500,000 members and supporters. And more importantly, we're a part of Friends of the Earth International, which is the world's largest federation of environmental groups with member groups in 74 countries around the world. And we are proud to stand up in solidarity with United Auto Workers and the workers that are in Mississippi and elsewhere who are fighting against Renault-Nissan in their ways. Because as we transition to a clean energy economy, it's important to recognize that a clean energy economy must be partnered and paired with just jobs and a just transition. We cannot transition to a fossil-free economy, and we will transition to a fossil-free economy in a manner that destroys jobs and fails to pay workers and gives workers the rights they need to self-organize, to organize within their communities, and to provide power. The labor unions in the United States and globally are a backbone to the progressive movement that shares the values of justice, of dignity. And so I'm here to just remind the delegates that if we are going to move to a 1.5 degrees framework, that framework cannot be accomplished if we leave workers behind and we leave the poorest of our communities behind. That is not the vision of the world that we all want to see going forward.
So today it'll be our pleasure to award the inaugural Unjust Transition Award to Renault-Nissan, a company in which the French government owns a substantial interest and which is also a corporate sponsor of the COP. Though Nissan is a key supporter of the UN Climate Change Summit and has provided its electric Leaf vehicles for the use of delegates here, they have not shown that they respect workers' rights and the need for a just transition. To be clear, Nissan has taken major positive steps on green transportation that deserve the support and praise of the environmental community. Their investments in electric vehicles have helped open up the sector and driven innovation, but they cannot and must not leave their workers behind. It's the case that Following a careful investigation, the National Labor Relations Board in the United States has issued a formal complaint as of last week against Renault-Nissan for labor violations against the workers who are seeking representation by the United Auto Workers Union at the Nissan plant in Canton, Mississippi. Renault-Nissan is resisting demands for union representation by workers at several plants in Mississippi and in Tennessee, including the Tennessee plant where workers manufacture batteries for the Nissan Leaf electric vehicle. They previously rejected an offer of mediation by the United States State Department. The company has pursued an aggressive campaign to block the efforts of its workers in Mississippi and Tennessee to organize. This anti-union campaign has included mandatory anti-union meetings, anti-union orientation sessions, retaliation against union leaders, and repeated threats implying that the plant may close if the workers vote for representation by the United Auto Workers. Now I would like to turn it over to Dr. Bullard.
Good morning. My name is Robert Bullard, and I'm the Dean of the Barbara Jordan Mickey Leland School of Public Affairs at Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas. And I am the co-founder of the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Climate Change Consortium, which includes 22 universities, historically black universities in the United States that stretch from Texas across the Gulf Coast up the South Atlantic as far north as Pennsylvania. 15 of those historically black colleges and universities have representation of students here in Paris at COP21. The Southern United States is unique and is set apart from the other rest of the country because of its unique history of slavery, Jim Crow segregation, and the fierce resistance to civil rights, human rights, and worker rights. It is no accident that the civil rights movement and the environmental justice movement were founded in the Southern United States. Transportation and civil rights have been intertwined for more than 100 years in the U.S., dating back to Plessy v. Ferguson, U.S. Supreme Court decision that codified Jim Crow. The Southern United States is also unique in that most of the states are right-to-work states and have been fierce opposition to unionizing. Mississippi in the 60s was the icon for and the poster child for state-sponsored discrimination. We stand in solidarity with workers that are fighting for just transition. We applaud Nissan for developing 100% green car, but to have a 100% green car and 50% justice for workers, we see that as a formula for disaster and is non-sustainable. If we talk about the issues of how can we applaud, fight for, and strive to become a green economy, we have to bring all of our workers, communities along. And the climate justice movement and the environmental justice movement and our historically black colleges and universities climate change consortium stand with workers. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Bullard. Before we turn it over to Lauren, I'd just like to introduce Samantha Smith from WWF International and allow her to say a few words.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on this issue. So look, I mean, Renault-Nissan is doing its part on the green transition, on low-emission transport, but it must also do its part for workers and on the just transition. We can't have a transition to this new economy that leaves people behind or leaves them with jobs that are not decent, jobs with fewer benefits, jobs with fewer protections. And we particularly can't have a transition that is racially unjust. So we must have all of these aspects in mind when we're looking at what companies do. They must have fair labor practices. They must not discriminate. and they must also do their part in this new economy. Because we're not just working for a world of low emissions, we're actually working for a world that is more fair and more just than the one that we have today. Now, this just transition that we're looking at is going to be immensely disruptive, right? There are a lot of people who work in the jobs of today, especially in polluting sectors, who are going to need to have jobs in the new economy. They're going to need to be trained. Older workers are going to need to have pensions respected. We're going to have a social floor. We're facing the second industrial revolution. And as we all know, what happened in the last one left a lot of people, families, children, workers on the sharp, pointy end. So let us not repeat the mistakes of the past. Let's see everyone, including employers, including Renault-Nissan, do their part to make sure that we get not only a world that is safe from the worst impacts of climate change, but also a world that is fair and just and not discriminatory. Thank you.
Thanks, Samantha. Now I'm going to turn it over to Lauren Wiggins, representing the historic Black colleges and universities of the United States.
Bonjour, everyone. My name is Lauren Wiggins. I'm a student at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. The youth's vision for a 100% clean world is where clean energy develops alongside increased equity. The current actions of Renault-Nissan do not fit that vision. How can we applaud green industrialization without simultaneous advancements in socioeconomic equity? The Renault-Nissan employees in Tennessee and Mississippi are not given the opportunity to unionize and ensure that the working conditions and compensation are safe and fair for all. This goes directly against what the civil rights movement, which began in the South, actually stood for. So are we to perpetuate the oppression that occurred in the antebellum and Jim Crow era? An even better question is, in this movement to reduce carbon emissions, are we going to leave the people, and more specifically the marginalized communities who are first affected and worst affected by climate change, behind in this movement? By not allowing these employees to stand up for their rights, we are not inviting justice for the climate, but an injustice for the people. Sadly, Renault-Nissan is supporting an unjust culture in the green movement. Clean energy technology is not possible without workers. These workers deserve fair treatment and the option to mobilize in the event that they are not treated with the respect they deserve. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. Now we have invited Carlos Ghosn, the CEO of Renault-Nissan, to attend today's award ceremony. So, Mr. Ghosn, if you're here to receive the award on behalf of Renault-Nissan, would you please step forward? Oh, I'm sorry to say, much to our surprise, Mr. Ghosn has not chosen to attend. So instead, what we'll do is that we will take this lovely trophy back to Mississippi, in Canton, Mississippi, and we will allow the workers in Canton, Mississippi to present this award directly to Renault-Nissan management in Mississippi. Thank you very much. We're now open for questions. And if you just raise your hand and please identify yourself by stating your name and the media outlet that you are with, and we'll take one question at a time. So any media members that are present here, please raise your hand. And we have folks with microphones available to take your questions. And if we don't have any media members who want to ask questions, we'd be happy to take a few questions from the audience while we still have some time. Yeah, a question here in the front row, please. Right here.
So when you cut deals with the devil, you can become involved in pretty devilish things. So my question is looking at the history of Mississippi, and the way African Americans have been treated. I'm wondering if there was some arrangement that was made between Renault and state government on how they were going to run this plant, and to what extent tax breaks were given to Renault for going along with the devilish deeds of Mississippi.
Do you want to let folks know who you are? People may want.
I'm Dr. Beverly Wright. I'm director of the Deep South Center for Environmental Justice at Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, and also co-organizer of the HBCU Climate Consortium.
Thanks very much for that question, Dr. Wright. Folks may or may not be aware that both the state and federal political representatives in Mississippi and Tennessee are controlled top to bottom by members of the Republican Party who do not support and are indeed hostile both to workers' right to organize and efforts by people in the African American community to assert the franchise and to overcome historic discrimination. When Volkswagen workers in Tennessee last year attempted to organize, the political representatives in Tennessee actually made threats untrue threats, but nevertheless very effective, that Volkswagen would leave the state if the workers chose to organize. So although I'm not aware specifically of any whether or not there was any kind of deal made between Renault-Nissan and representatives in those state governments, I think it is important for people to be aware of the political context and the fact that these large transnational corporations are aware of these political arrangements, and they are aware of laws such as so-called right-to-work laws, which actually are laws that pretty much guarantee that workers will not be able to organize when they make the decisions to go into states that have historically discriminated against people of color. There are other questions? Right. Okay, so if there are no other questions, if the video is ready to roll, we'll probably just conclude today's event by showing you it's about a 1-minute video about the situation with the workers in Mississippi and Tennessee. So if that's ready to go, let's please roll the video. Thank you all very much.
Good job. Good job.
Sure. Who wants to hold the trophy?
Just split in the middle of us.
Yeah. Yeah, let's all get into it with her. Yeah.
Can we have everybody who has the Renault T-shirt come up and get a photo as well? This is in solidarity with everything that's being done.
You T-shirt people, get on up here. Come on now, don't be shy. How much time do we have?
Yeah, we got enough time. Come on.
We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3-minute drill.
Everybody who has a T-shirt, let's stand up and help us.
Yeah, let's back up here and get the t-shirts. All right. I'll back up anyway. Sure people should stay in front.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, why don't you guys come on over?
Yeah, scrunch together. Get in front of the trophy. Because this is about your protest and your rights.
Yes, I'm from the French Union. And we're in favor of what you are doing.
Solidarity.
Yeah. International solidarity.
We are from many unions. I'm from California.
I'm from Italy.
I'm from France.
From Australia.
Oh, man.
Zimbabwe. From Philippines. From Indonesia.
Argentina, Norway,
Brazil.
France.
We all support you.
Thank you. Let's see.
Yeah, he's too silent.
Renault-Nissan, you can't hide.
We are on the workers' side.
We are on the workers' side.
Renault-Nissan, you can't hide.
Renault-Nissan, you can't hide.
We are on the workers' side.
We are on the workers' side.
I say union, you say yes.
Union, you say
Union.
yes.
Union.
Yes. Woo!